Good morning to all of you that is sitting here in the sanctuary and to everyone that is watching us through our live stream. We welcome you. And if anyone is present or visiting us for the first time, we also welcome you very, very much, and we hope that you will come back. And Stella is our ambassador today, and if you didn't get a cup and a packet when you came in, please see her after the service. Would you check in on Facebook? Let everybody know that you're here, and they're not. And you'd be glad to pick them up next week about 10:30. And then please silence your phone. We do have masks available in the foyer. If you like to wear one and forgot to bring it today, they are out there. And please join me for our mission statement. Our mission is to encourage and inspire spiritual and personal growth by empowering each other to be authentically all that we came here to be. Before I start the reading, I want to thank the Reverends Les and Pat McClellan for stepping in to teach the adult Sunday school this morning, as James is not feeling well. And we thank you two for just being willing to jump in at any time. Let's speak the affirmation for today's daily word. I embrace the sacred opportunity in every relationship. As I reflect on the relationships in my life, I appreciate their wide variety, from time spent with those I hold dear to a simple smile exchanged in the checkout line. Every connection I make provides an opportunity to shine light into someone's life, whether for an instant or a lifetime. I approach every relationship in my life aware of its sacred nature, ready to shine my Christ light. I look for opportunities to share joy, create healthy boundaries, value the unique expression of God that each person is, and see parts of myself reflected in others. I recognize this sacred awareness in every connection I make, and I grow in spirit. The possibility for spiritual evolution exists in every relationship I have, if I simply allow myself to see it. The scripture for today is Matthew 6:21. If you'll please join me. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And join me in repeating the affirmation. I embrace the sacred opportunity in every relationship. Sometimes, bifocals don't put you on the right line. As the prayer bowl is rung, please hold the following people in your prayerful thoughts for their highest and best: Helen, Al, Aubrey, Cody, Ray, Jim, G, Larry, Rod, Jane, James, Susan, and anyone else who comes to your mind. Allow the vibrations and the sounds from the prayer bowl permeate your entire body, calling forth your Christ spirit. Bring your focus to your heart area. Put your hand over your heart if that feels natural. And take a deep breath, centered on your Christ consciousness. Take another deep breath and exhale. Cleanse your mind of the interruptive thoughts that distract your focus upon God, Spirit, the divine, the universe, whatever you choose to call the one that I call God. Return your attention to your heart and take another deep breath and release. Let us relax, starting at the crown of our head, moving down to our face, eyes, ears, cheeks, mouth, tongue, jaw. Relax your neck and shoulders. Follow your attention down your arms, elbows, wrists, hands, and fingers. Relax down your spine and lower back. Relax your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Take a deep breath and exhale. We pray for the highest and best for all the persons on our prayer list, for ourselves, our families, friends, and our neighbors. We see our prayers for peace and abundance surround our spiritual community, our city, our state, our nation. We affirm the truth with a capital T for all people, that everyone is blessed with comfortable shelter, healthy nourishment, health care, safety and security, and peace of mind. We affirm peace among all peoples, all countries, all governments. What we think about and believe that we have already received assures us of manifestation. We surround with love all of our congregants, those here in the sanctuary, and those joining us online. The infinite magnitude of our gratitude overflows for the blessings, the healing, the love that is always present. We give thanks for the guidance that comes from Spirit, knowing it is always for our highest good. We look for opportunities to share joy, create healthy boundaries, value the unique expression of God that each person and ourselves are, and we see parts of ourselves reflected in others. We vow to accept others right where they are, and as we rest in the silence, we open our minds to receive divine guidance on the best way for us to express in the silence.
Yeah, you can hear me? Oh, good morning. And thank you so much to our band and to Michelle. Perfect song for today. And John, your talent is so widespread. For those of you who don't know, John is often part of the orchestra at some of our local theaters. And I think The Color Purple, the last day is today, right? So if you have not seen it, we got to go see it. It was amazing. It was amazing, and I love that you're a part of that, so thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I am not meaning to not be sociable today. I'm just still not feeling well. I got to tell you a little bit of a grace story. Paul had gotten COVID about 4 weeks ago, and I fell within that 5-day window of thinking that I shouldn't be here in case I was contagious, in case I got it. So thank goodness the Reverends Pat and Les McClellan, I could say, hey, can you guys speak? And they did that week, and I thank you so much for that. And the following week, I knew I would be here. And then last week was our board retreat, which I'm excited to share that with you, not today, but at some point. And I had Chaz set up to speak this past week. And I went into guilt because here's the thing is that next week we're going to be on vacation. So it was going to be bump, bump, bump. And I went into guilt and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe and so I texted Dee and said, hey, can you see if you can move Chaz? And after I did that, it just like whooshed to me, my gosh, I've been doing this for 17 plus years. I don't even have a handful of Sundays that I've not shown up at the last minute because of being sick. Just let it go. Well, as grace would have it, Dee, for some reason, didn't ever see that message, so she didn't change Chaz. And as of Friday morning last week, about 3 a.m, I woke up and I had a sore throat. And so I contacted the board because we're gathering at my house for the board retreat. And whoever felt comfortable coming came, and I wore a mask. But here's the thing, that by Sunday morning, I literally had, I'm talking no voice. I have never not had any voice. Bless Paul's heart, he got peace and quiet for a whole day because I had no voice. It's hard to imagine, yeah. But it was just such grace that she didn't get the message and that Chaz was here. How did you like Chaz? Yeah. Yeah, for those of us who've been here a while, we know and love Chaz. I'm so grateful for those of you who hadn't gotten to experience him, that you got to experience him. Chaz is like a big heart walking around. He is a man of absolute service. If you call, he says yes. And it amazes me over and over and over how he does that. And he's also hilarious. Friend him on Facebook, and you will have many, many, many laughs with him. So I won't be hugging you today, but I hug you in spirit, and it's just so good to see all of you. Beautiful beams of light and love and goodness and emanations of God, individuated as the beautiful expressions that you are here to be. And it's good to see some of you that I haven't seen in a while. Good to see you, Peggy. Good to see you here, and good to see Mary Lou here this morning. Yay. And good to see those of you who I haven't met yet. I look forward to that. So we started our year by saying yes to living our best life. And to me, what this really is about, it's about really walking the talk. It's about going beyond listening and reading and learning, and it's about integrating the things that we know to be true into our lives. It's about proving our principles. How many of us have already proven the principles over and over again in our lives? Yes. For those of you who don't know, our 5, I like to call them guiding principles, are, and you can say them if you know them with me: God is, I am, I ask, I pray, and I act. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're saying yes to whatever it is that is wanting to emerge as each of us is individuated expressions of that which we call God. Call God whatever you want to call God. There's not a God out there that cares what you call it. It's developing that relationship. And I want to keep reminding us that, my friends, this life is a gift. The fact that we woke up this morning on this side of life, This is a real gift that each of us have been given. And we have all come into this life with everything that we need to navigate this life, no matter what shows up for us. We have everything that we need to navigate it in a successful way. And when I mean that, I mean in a way that our lives are filled with meaning and purpose, that our lives are emanations of love and kindness and goodness and compassion and connection and oneness. So a life that truly makes a difference. So we're going to share in some affirmations if you'd like to share with them with me. This is the Reverend Michael Beckwith affirmation that we love so much. So together, I am available to more good than I've ever experienced, imagined, manifested, or expressed before. How's that feel? Yeah. It feels good, doesn't it? Yes. And are we open and available to that? Are we willing, no matter where we're at in our life today, no matter how far progressed we may be in something, no matter how old or young we are, can we hold on to that as if I'm alive today, I'm available to more good than I've ever experienced or expressed before? Yes, we absolutely. So we started out by saying yes to a greater financial flow in our life. Because the reality, my friends, is that we deal with money in our lives, don't we? And for some people, making money is their gift. More than enough money is always flowing into their lives. And I think for many, life is a struggle financially. So we want to use our principles to open ourselves up to a greater flow of financial freedom in our lives. So if you'll share with me, I am open to the abundance of the universe, and I expect and accept all of my good in expected and unexpected ways. Yes, and I'll tell you what, I love to just open my entire being up to that and open up to this that we call God, the divine intelligence, love. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we began talking about love. Love. I love talking about love. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about love because I believe that we have come forth from the greatest love that there could ever be, the most beautiful, unconditional love, and that we are here as the beloved. We are here to be loved, and we are here to give that love. We are here to be that love in expression. And we base this on the commandment, the great commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take the song that we sang that Dee talked about loving so much. It's one of my favorite songs as well. I asked John if we could do the song today. The greatest thing in all my life. And it starts, the greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. I want to know you more. I want to know you more. The greatest thing in all my life is knowing you. And where we're going to go with this today is the greatest thing in all my life is knowing the God of my understanding and being in relationship with the God of my understanding. That's the greatest thing. I often say that our whole life experience, it flows out of whatever our understanding is of this that we call God and our relationship to that which we call God. Everything blossoms out of that. And all I can tell you is that since I've been in Unity and my entire experience of God has become that which is love, that which is good, that which is for us, that which underlies and stands under everything, that which with which I get to be a co-creator. My life is totally different because of that relationship with the God of my understanding. So in this, and I love this quote from, where did I go? Well, goodness, okay. Raphael Simon says, to fall in love with God is the greatest of all romances. To seek him, the greatest adventure. To find him, the greatest human achievement. And you can take the him off. I mean, we know, you can call God genderful, genderless. In Unity, we do not try to define God, and yet we do because that's how we speak. But we know that God is ineffable. God is infinite. God is that which we cannot define, but we can feel and we can experience. And one of the ways that we do that, of course, course, is through meditation, is through taking time apart. And the importance of that, the importance of opening ourselves up. I was watching on, I love the streaming service Gaia. I don't know if anybody has that, but amazing stuff on this. And we were watching Yogananda Paramahansa Yogananda. It's kind of like the Bhagavad Gita. I always want to say Inagata Davida. I can never quite say it, so say it again. Paramahansa Yogananda. Okay, was watching that though. Fascinating documentary on him. But his whole thing was really about guiding us back inward and getting us back into that place where we are opening ourselves up to really experience the presence, that we are really open to allowing that which is God to reveal itself to us in whatever way it's going to. And here's the thing. There's no one right way. There's no one right path. There's no one right definition. There's no one right experience. That's the beauty of this. This is why it's such a personal thing, and that we're not here to try to tell you what to believe about God, but we're here to hopefully encourage you to go within and to journey into that place where God can reveal itself as you, through you, ultimately, in whatever way that it will. So it's going to be very, very, very personal to each and every one of us. Another way that the greatest thing in all my life is knowing you is, first thing when you wake up in the morning, that you are in gratitude. How many of us wake up and just thank you, God? Thank you for another beautiful day. Yes, what a difference it makes. And setting our intention for the day, remembering that we are partnering with this that we call God, right? So setting that intention that throughout this day, let my eyes be your eyes, let my words be your words, let my touch be your touch, let my thoughts be your thoughts, let my ears hear as they would hear through the ears of love. So really just the greatest thing in all my life is knowing you, is opening ourselves up to whatever that experience is of the God of our understanding. And the little affirmation I have for us, again, it's a Michael Beckwith, but I love it because it's just fun. Together, let the God times roll. I love that so much. Okay, so this then moves us into real relationship with God, that genuine connectedness, that head and that heart. And then that moves us into the second part of the second verse of the song, the greatest thing in all my life is loving you. And for me, I believe that, obviously the scripture that says love God tells us how to do it. And the way that we love God is we love ourselves and we love each other, right? And so we have to start with loving ourselves. And when we love ourselves, we are loving God, right? This body right here, you know what this body is? It's your temple. This is the temple of the Spirit of God that is animating you. This mind, this life that you have, this whole thing is the temple of the Spirit of God that is animating you as you are in this particular lifetime. Many times what we see are that people live lives of quiet desperation. And it's so quiet that they don't even hear it anymore because, and I think there's probably the majority of us can relate to this at some point in our lives, where we have allowed the world to tell us who we are supposed to be and how we are supposed to be. Can anybody relate to that? And there's this underlying kind of pain of like, I know there's something more that wants to emerge here. And we're going to talk in a minute about part of what it takes to allow that to come out. But Mark, and our great master teacher, Jesus, said in Mark 8:36, what good is it for us to gain the whole world but forfeit our soul? Because that's what it feels like, doesn't it? When we're not being authentic and true with ourselves, and we're not loving this being, that is being animated by this that we call God. And when we forfeit our soul, we give up that which really makes us come alive. And as I shared a couple weeks ago in the Gospel of Thomas, if you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. If you bring forth, that's powerful, powerful scripture. If you don't bring it forth, it says it will destroy you. If you bring it forth, it will save you. So this is about becoming clear on, what jazzes us, becoming clear on who am I? Am I being true to myself? Am I shrinking? Am I making myself small? And sometimes, am I making myself too big? Am I overpowering? Because it can go both ways on this. But I love this. This is moving from self-esteem to soul esteem. And when we're in soul esteem, things can kind of rock us, but we're solid. We're anchored because we know who we are and we know what we're about and we know that we are on purpose because we are coming from deep within something deeper within us. We are walking in integrity with our inner beingness. There's a little story about Rabbi Zusia, who was a pious and a revered sage. He was lying on his deathbed and he was weeping. And his students were shocked by this. And they said, Rabbi Zusia, if there's anybody who is going to make it into the kingdom of heaven, it is you. Why do you weep? And he turned his head towards his beloved students and he said, if my children, when I stand before the heavenly court and I am asked, Zusia, why were you not a Moses? I shall have no hesitation in affirming I was not born a Moses. And if they ask, why then were you not an Elijah? I shall speak with confidence, neither was I an Elijah. I weep, my friends, because there's only one question that I fear to be asked. Why were you not a Zusia? Oh, so it's really just opening ourselves up to saying, where am I not being authentically true to myself? And that's going to take some courage, isn't it? And some inner strength to stand more in the knowing of who you are and bringing that gift. It's a gift. What you have to give, it's a gift that you have to give to this life and to the people around you. So the beauty of this is that when we learn to love ourselves in that way, when we learn to, and let me say this too, I want to just say this real quick. This does not dismiss bad behavior. This does not mean, okay, I'm being authentic, I'm just like this, you have to deal with it. No, we're talking about the authentic beingness of God expressing through you. And God's not probably going to show up as control and anger and, bullying or anything like that. So I just want to make sure we understand that. We're talking about really, really just being that authentic Christ that you are here to be. And when we accept that more about ourselves, we can then turn and be more accepting of the people around us. And that to me is the third part of the song is the greatest thing in all my life is serving you. And I really believe that one of the greatest ways that we serve God is through loving other people, through connecting with other people, through seeing other people, through really seeing other people. And it's interesting because, that's a journey for us, isn't it? To really open ourselves up to seeing people that are different from us and being willing to really see deep into their soul and deep into their heart. Okay, so this is where we move into what I like to call real relationships. And we can have these relationships with our families, with our friends, with our church, with our neighbors, and we can have these relationships with strangers on the street. So we can have them with anybody. So let's look for a moment at what the word relationship means. So relationship is a condition or fact of being related, a connection, association, or involvement. Okay, that's kind of sterile, isn't it? The word real means genuine, authentic, true, essential, heartfelt. So we have many relationships in our lives, but what we want to do is we want to have relationships. And when we have relationships, that means that we have genuine, authentic, heartfelt connection, association, or involvement. So which feels better to you? Like, a relationship or a real relationship? Yeah, for the most part, we're going to want to have the relationships. So my opinion is that the most important factor in any relationship is communication. Communication. Would we pretty much agree with that? If we aren't communicating, we aren't. And let me say it this way, good communication. And let me clarify here, because a lot of times when we think of communication, we immediately think of, talking to each other, which is vitally important. But remember that just as important is listening, that we have to be able to listen. So let's first look at some maybe unhealthy ways that we communicate or that we've been communicated to, in some of these ways. Anybody ever get defensive? I thought I'd start with that one because I thought pretty much we could all put our hand up in that one. How about, has anybody ever used or you've used contempt? Something like, when are you ever going to learn? I wouldn't do that. Stonewalling, my opinion is the only opinion. Unrighteous judgment. And unrighteous judgment, my friends, is where we don't have all the facts. How about just coming into a conversation with criticism or shaming? Or control, or
what the heck is the matter with you?
Yeah.
Are we talking about
today? Anger. How about coming into a conversation with anger? Gaslighting. Gaslighting's a relatively new term. Relatively. This is where somebody minimizes your feelings. If someone is intentionally distorting reality to make you feel like what you're feeling or thinking isn't real, that's gaslighting. Projection, putting something out on the person rather than taking responsibility. Triangulation, bringing, talking to other people, interrupting. So these are some of the ways that probably aren't the healthiest ways for us to communicate. So let's talk about healthy ways to communicate. According to experts from Forbes Health, people exhibit good communication when they pay attention and listen. To me, those are the two main factors. I'm going to talk about more, but these are the two main factors, is that we are willing to pay attention and we are willing to listen. We are willing to be present in the moment as to what is being communicated. And I will say here too, because one of the things that I have been really practicing, especially with people that I don't know, is looking into their eyes when I'm communicating. And it's very interesting because as a species, we kind of don't necessarily feel real comfortable really looking into each other's eyes when we're talking. But what I found is that the more that I stay present to that and stay, just very engaged and focused and look into someone's eyes when I'm talking to them, all of a sudden they start looking into my eyes, and it's an incredible experience when you have that connection. So be aware of looking into people's eyes. How about the other thing in paying attention and listening is listen to understand rather than to respond. Oh, hello, huh? How many of us are already in our heads going, oh, I know what I'm going to say back, and we're not really listening. We're not really listening. And one of my favorite definitions was from Reverend Wilbone when he said that, to truly listen is the willingness to be changed by what you hear. These are big because we many times go into a conversation with somebody we already know, and we aren't really listening, and and true listening is I'm willing to be changed by what I hear, and I'm going to listen without, here's the thing, I'm going to try to listen without thinking about how I'm going to respond, because what does it take? It takes practice. It takes practice. We have to bring ourselves back. The moment that you feel yourself zoning out, come back, be present, and trust. You got to trust that whatever's there is going to be there when the time comes for you need to be able to say it. Use body language. I know that really helps when you're communicating with somebody's communicating with you something, to nod your head, sometimes maybe even to reach over and touch, just to acknowledge that you're present and you're listening. You're present and you're listening. How do you feel when you know that somebody is really listening to you. You feel valued. Yes, you feel acknowledged. You feel, and why wouldn't we want the people around us to feel that, whoever they are? So we want to be aware of that. Ask questions. Tell me more. That's a big one, isn't it? Tell me more. And here's one of the things to validate people's thoughts and feelings. One of the things that makes me crazy is if somebody says to me, well, you shouldn't feel that way. And I'm like, but I do. Maybe I shouldn't feel this way, but I am feeling this way. And the moment that somebody says you shouldn't feel that way, you feel dismissed. Instead, tell me more. I hear what you're saying. Can you help me to understand? Tell me more. Become a good listener and a good communicator. Become somebody who cares about what is being said there. And again, getting out of your own head, out of your own ego, out of your own need to be right, out of your own need to prove your point, and to be willing, again, to be changed by what you're hearing. And anybody who knows me well knows that my mantra is open, honest, loving, clear communication. I really want us to have open communication. I want it to be honest. And hear this, please. There's no such thing as brutal honesty. There's brutality and there's honesty. They do not go together. So you want loving communication as much as you can. I'm not saying that sometimes you're going to have to set a hard boundary, right? You're going to have to get a little loud. That's okay. But this is our goal, to be here more. I like what Gary Chapman, and I'll tell you, Gary Chapman is an author, did the 5 love languages. If you want to learn more about communication and love, these are the books to go to. He says there are 2 ways to speak the truth, as bullets or as seeds. Use the truth as a bullet and you will kill relationships. Plant the truth as a seed and it will take root and grow, influencing the person in whose heart it was planted. Love has the patience to plant seeds. So here's the big one now. Do you know what it's going to take to have these wonderful relationships and have this kind of communication? Are you ready? Vulnerability. So let's look for a moment. Let's see what the dictionary says about vulnerability. Capable of or susceptible to being attacked, damaged, or hurt, open to moral attack, criticism, temptation, etc., open to assault, difficult to defend, willing to show emotion or allow one's weaknesses to be seen or known. Well, no wonder we're not great at communication. You know, if that's what vulnerability means, who wants to step into that? But then we have Brené Brown. And if you don't know Brené, go search her up. Listen to her TED Talk. Because she takes vulnerability to a whole different level. She says vulnerability is not just about fear and grief and disappointment. It's the birthplace of everything that we're hungry for. When we are vulnerable, guess what? We are being our most authentic selves. And when we're being our most authentic selves, that sometimes is that birthplace where we know that we could be judged, but it's also that place where we know I can finally stand and be me, right? And be seen for who I am. And I am willing also to give that to another person. She says that the definition of vulnerability is simply uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, but vulnerability is not weakness. It's our most accurate measure of courage. So instead of vulnerability as being something weak, it's actually an incredible place of courage because we're willing to stand and say, here I am, this is me, and I'm going to do my best to love you and see you for who you are as you are. I'm going to be out here and I'm going to be raw and I'm going to be open and I'm going to be real. She says when the barrier is our belief about vulnerability, the question becomes, are we willing to show up and be seen when we can't control the outcome? Because you're not going to be able to control the outcome, are ya? Only your income, not really income, but your inner beingness only that. And when the barrier to vulnerability is about safety, the question becomes, are we willing to create courageous spaces so we can be fully seen? I was in a long marriage, and in that relationship, I didn't let myself be fully seen for fear that I would not be loved and accepted. And you know what one of my biggest frustrations was in that marriage? That he didn't know who I was. How could he? I didn't show it. I was too afraid. So these are the final words from her TED Talk. She says, when we work from a place that says, I'm enough, then we stop screaming and start listening. We're kinder and we're gentler to the people around us, and we're kinder and gentler to ourselves. So this is what this is about. This is about being able to be present to each other, to love each other, to embrace each other, to accept each other, to see each other. So I'm going to close with two other things quickly. One is the golden rule: do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Simply love others, or pray for others as you would like to be prayed for. Love others as you would like to be loved. Speak to others as you would like to be spoken to. Believe in others as you would like them to believe in you. Respect others as you would like to be respected. See others as you would like them to see you, and speak of others as you would like them to speak of you. This would change our world, wouldn't it? Yeah. And the last thing is simply going back through that the greatest thing in all my life is knowing you and recognizing that I come to know the God of my understanding through that time apart. At least that's the starting point. Take that time to move into that place where you allow God to reveal God's self in you, as you, and through you. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. And in this, I love God as I love myself, remembering that I am that emanation of God. And the greatest thing in all my life is serving you. And I serve God as I give myself away in love to others. So go out this week, you guys, and just be the greatest expression of love that you can be. Watch people around you change. Watch your life change. And I say to you, namaste. And I am going to go out the door, but I love each and every one of you. And Reverends Pat and Les are going to be here next Sunday. Thank you for that. But God bless each and every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, as our ushers come forward, if you would please join us in our offertory blessing all together now. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Once again, we have Ms. Michelle Van Hoos, and we're going to be singing a little Sly and the Family Stone.